Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is the Community Pod, and I am your host, Lester Class. Each and every episode is going to be filled with amazing stories from amazing people. You will hear the different journeys people went through, or are still going through, to be able to do what they love. From the failures to the successes and everything in between. This is a place to get to know the person behind their passion, because people only get to see the successes and not what it took to get there. If this is your first time tuning in, please subscribe and leave a review if you love the content. Now finally, I would love to welcome you to the Community Pod.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode. My name is Lester Class. I am the host of the Community Pod, and I have an amazing guest here. I have Elianel Clinton in the building. What's going on?
What's going on? Thank you.
I had to put the Spanish twist to it.
Yeah, you got it. You got to put on.
Exactly.
A lot of people butcher the name, so there we
really?
go. Yeah, I've gotten so many different. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Eli, it's just Lionel. I'm just like
Lionel?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I got it right.
Thank
but
you.
I appreciate you for being here. I definitely am glad that I got you on. I definitely want to say before I begin that I love your work. I think that you're an amazing photographer. And I guess I already told everybody what he does. But could you give a quick introduction as to what is it that you do?
First off, I just want to say thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Second podcast, first one that's going live, so it feels good to sit and chat. But I am a photographer and a director, freelance, full time. It's kind of my world. That's what I'm into. Is what I'm doing.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Cool. So what I like to start off with doing is basically I want to ask you the question where is it that you found your passion for doing photography?
Okay, cool. So my passion actually came from my dad.
Okay.
Coming out the womb, my dad always had a camera in my face and my brother's face and my mom's face and the whole family. So that's all I seen, you know, as a kid. I actually was just looking at old home videos. It was year 96. So I was 8 months old. And in that clip, that was real, like, it hit home because in that clip, my dad was filming and he also turned the camera to film both of us. And in that moment, he was like, yo, this is, for the holidays, for the family, but also, too, for you to see when you get older. When I saw that, I kid you not, like, I broke down. I'm like, holy am I able to curse?
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, holy shit. I said, nah, this is, like, real. It's crazy to see. Also, too, in that clip, I was like, I kept reaching for the camera. I know kids are really like into shit like that and like just like any little thing, but I saw that connection there. And that just drove me into wanting to be into that world and seeing that when I was looking at that video, I'm like, oh wow, like even when I was this young, like of age, I was into this. So as I grew older, preteen era, I started like, wondering like, what's this world about? I saw my old baby photo album book, mm-hmm. Saw images of me when I was like a couple months old. I'm like, here I am, maybe like 8, 9 years old. I'm like, this is what I looked like back then. Like, this is what I look like coming out of my mom. So it was interesting, and it drove me to like being even more in depth into photography and in the art world and the art scene and just like documentation. Come middle school, my parents purchased my first digital camera. We were on a cruise. I saw photographers and I saw cameras. I was like, I want my own camera. I want. Got back home. They purchased me my first digital camera. I was shooting landscapes. I was shooting like ants, little random shit. And as I got older, I learned a little bit more about the camera. And then Tumblr came around. I don't know if you're familiar with Tumblr. The Tumblr era came around. I winded up taking pictures of my outfit. Like me and my homie would like, this is real nostalgic for me because we were in the basement of my home doing YouTube videos. So then that world kind of tapped in. I started doing fashion stuff. I started taking pictures of my outfit, documenting my outfit, realizing like there was something there. Tapped into that a little bit more as I grew older. I was like, this is my purpose. This is why I'm here. I want to continue it and grow it and learn a little bit more. So finished high school, and while I was in high school, I was like, nah, this is my thing. Mm-hmm. Go from middle school into high school, I said, this is my thing. I perfected it a little bit more as I grew older. While I was in high school, I was like, I need to go to the city. Yeah. I need to go to the city for college. I need to be surrounded by a bunch of creatives because in my town, there's really no creatives. It's like real like suburbs. Mm-hmm. Got accepted to FIT, the Fashion Institute of Technology, went there, and then the rest is kind of like history. Like Like I learned a lot more, tapped into myself, tapped into my world, and kind of made it here, you know.
Gotcha. But the one thing I think that is interesting about, photographers, right, is that, how like many people say that creatives or artists, their art is their tool is their paintbrush. I feel like for photographers, it is the camera and the editing software, all these things that make up these beautiful images. Because I truly don't feel not everybody can pick up a camera and become a photographer. Would you agree?
I agree to an extent, because
Okay.
I feel like everyone has an eye.
Mhm.
Like a couple of my friends too, like they already like they have an eye. So it's like I think anyone could, if they want to tap into it and really learn,
Mhm.
could be a photographer. Doing the legwork, learning it's more than just snapping the photo. Like it's just not just like hitting that shutter. It's a lot more to it. It's like, angles, it's lighting, it's a lot. It's the camera settings. Like it's so
Mhm.
much more to it. So yeah.
Yeah, because the reason I say what I say is because I know that I've met a lot of people who either get into a creative field strictly because they think the money's going to
Oh,
just
yeah.
come right away, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's a long process. I think that being a creative in general, you have to have this willpower and know that it's going to be one of the hardest hustles that you're going to have.
Oh, absolutely.
But if you want it, you're going to have to go 110%.
Right. As anything in life, I feel like
Mhm.
anything you want, and you see yourself doing, it's like the hard work and the hustle to get to that point.
Got you.
100%.
Got you. So we did. So what I do want to say is like the accomplishments that you do have, whether that's working with Converse, New York Times, Vogue, Teen Vogue. Am I missing any?
There's got a couple other, like we have Wall Street Journal,
Wall Street.
BuzzFeed, Bloomberg Biz This Week, just to name a few, and there's a couple that I can't say yet.
Yeah.
That's on the
Just
way.
to name a few. But like I would, the reason I'm bringing all this up, all his credentials, is because it obviously took time. It
Yeah.
obviously took, you putting pressure on yourself to be able to accomplish these things.
Right.
What do you feel like is it that got you to where you are now to be able to do these things?
Definitely God, because without him, I would not be here. But the hard work, a lot of like not giving up on myself. Like I always say this to everyone. You have to be a little delusional. You gotta be a little delusional. Also, too, you gotta put in the work. It's not gonna come overnight. There's moments where I thought that was gonna be my, overnight type of thing, but it wasn't the case. So just a lot of hard work and like dedication and having the faith in myself. I just recently started working for myself. This is year 2. So seeing how that's kind of like propelling me to the next like level of just where I want to be and where I see myself, I feel like it's just a lot of that faith and just believing solely in myself
Gotcha.
to do it.
And the one thing that I do think is amazing is the fact that, you mentioned that from a young age you got this influence from your father, right? What is it like having someone like your father to, kind of be the factor that kind of got you into being a photographer?
Oh, it feels amazing. I thank him every moment I can. I thank my parents, because without them, I wouldn't be who I am today. So it's like, shout out to mom and dad. But it feels good because it reminds me that I'm living solely in my purpose. Like I just did a portfolio review, and I was showing works of my family project that I've been working on for like 6-7 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I told the reviewer, I was like, it's just kind of like me taking over my dad's role and documenting my family from my viewpoint.
Okay.
So it kind of feels good to see that work of what my dad was seeing. So now it's kind of like what I'm seeing.
Okay.
So it feels good because it's kind of like, shit, like my dad was seeing this view and I'm seeing this view. Eventually in the future, it's going to be a book. There's going to be a book out there, and I plan to have my dad's work in there as well. So it's going to be real cool to see like a page of my dad's work and what he saw versus what I'm seeing.
Got you. And do you think you have a name for that book yet?
It's definitely gonna be the Clintons.
Okay.
That was my senior thesis. It's also my last name. So I feel like it's only right to continue that. And I also too, I want like, to create this legacy for my family.
No, that's super dope.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really dope. What do you feel like is one of the best moments you've had being a photographer?
The best moments I've had being a photographer. I would say definitely like meeting these subjects. Early 2021, I started getting a lot of work with the New York Times.
Okay.
With those assignments, I was on set meeting these interesting folks, people who are going through things or people who are like achieving things. So I feel like having those moments on set is amazing because I'm meeting someone new, hearing their world. That I would definitely say is like the best.
Gotcha.
The best.
And what I want to ask is I know this may be a tough question, but what do you feel like it makes you stand out as a photographer from the rest?
Yikes. I think definitely my relation that I have with my subjects and my teams, the clients, definitely stands me apart because I go into all of my jobs just like being myself. Like there's no there's no front, or I'm not trying to put on face for someone. Like if I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you how I'm talking to the client.
Mm-hmm.
How I'm talking to the client, I'm talking to the subject. So I think that sets me apart from a lot of people. I've been on a couple of sets assisting, if not assisting, just there, and I've seen how a lot of the client and I just seen that world, and I saw like that wasn't me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I feel as though sets me apart a lot from other photographers and artists.
Got it. So I want to definitely go back a little bit and talk about like this. I guess what I do call it sometimes is this weird period in time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you want to be a photographer, but you either don't have the tools to do it yet, and you have this passion, but you just aren't at that point to be able to do it. What are things that you went through? I guess that weird period I'm talking about is high school,
right,
until afterwards, and trying to be like, I want to do this, but like, how do I do this?
What are the period times you're saying? Like what I went through?
Yeah. What is it? What was that moment like of graduating high school and coming out of in pursuing what you want to pursue?
It was definitely hard. Growing up in a family with no creatives, everyone is stuck to a 9-to-5 job. No shade to the 9-to-5ers, but I always knew I was a creative. When I was in middle school, I was like, I had this niche for creativity, and it goes far beyond just photography. Like I was drawing. I thought I was gonna be an artist. I thought I was gonna be a painter. Anything creative was my thing. So it was difficult, telling my parents like, hey, I want to go to school to be a photographer. Mm-hmm. It was a little rocky because my mom told me, my mom and my dad actually made it very apparent, like, you sure this is what you want to do? Like they backed me the whole entire way, and I'm super grateful for them because I know not everyone has that support system. So getting that support system from my parents, the two people who mean the most to me, it was just super helpful. But they told me that, like, what are you going to do after that degree? Like, do you have a job? Are you going to have a job coming out of college? Like, think about all of those things and all those factors. So that was a little scary for me, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to get that job. I'm going to do this. This is what I love, and I don't want to do anything that I don't love. So also, too, this is my purpose. So it's like I'm just walking in my purpose. So it was like I knew that was what I had to do. But coming from a suburb town into the city, like I said, I went to school at FIT, so that was in the city. So I always knew I wanted to be in the city. During my little Tumblr era, I was going to the city with my homie, and we were out there all the time, and I was just seeing like how different that world is over there. So I was like, I want to do this. I got to do this. I'm going to do this. Mm-hmm. And I did it. So I did that. And it was a journey, It wasn't like, I got out of college and I got that job. Like I got what I wanted to do. I actually graduated with no job. So I'm in the back of my mind like, fuck. My mom told me I need to make sure I have a job coming out of school. That didn't happen. I had a lot of moments while I was in college where I really realized I have anxiety. I had my very first breakdown my junior year of college. I'm like, I can't find an internship, and in order to graduate, you need an internship. I'm like, none of these brands or jobs or anything was coming my way. Like they weren't offering photography internships. So I'm like, damn. Landed my first internship. Got a second one as well. So that played out really well. But unfortunately, I wasn't like hired after college, like straight out of college. But I did land a job at my second internship. I was freelance there. That was cool. That was an experience, but also a learning lesson for me. I was like, this isn't really what I want to do. This is not where I don't feel like I'm walking in my purpose. This is not making me happy. I was in the office till like 3-4 in the morning, and this is in the city, so I have to travel back home, get home 5-6 in the morning, go to sleep, and like, you know. And in that time, I had another job, so I had a 9-to-5 job that I had to go to and tend to. But yeah, it was one hell of a journey. I kind of got lost in the sauce talking about what the question was again.
No, I think you did answer it.
Okay,
if I'm gonna be honest,
good. Because one thing about me, I could talk. I could go on and
on. But no, I think that there was something I wanted to touch on where, like, you said something about you knowing this is your purpose, right?
Right.
And I think that's one of the most beautiful things, like, ever, because those moments where you broke down your junior year of college, those moments where you couldn't find an internship, those moments where you feel like, where do I go from here?
Yeah.
And you still continue to push to get here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is probably, I think it's one of the hardest but most beautiful, and I think the way I want to say it is most beautiful, enduring experience you can go through. Because when you're pushing and you're working, you know, you feel like nothing's coming, and then just that one opportunity shows up, it means more than anything else.
Oh, yeah.
And I just wanted to ask you, for people at home that want to be a creative or, you know, want to pursue their passion, what is something they should know before they get into it?
Never give up. Never give up. Like I said earlier, you got to be a little delusional. You have to really have faith in yourself. There's a lot of moments where I was like, shit, I have to pay my car note. I didn't get a job. I didn't get an assignment. I'm like, how am I, what? But with the strength and within God, like God willing, like there's moments, you know, it's quiet, but the next moment is like something comes, like, you know, an assignment comes. I get an email like, hey, do you want to shoot this? And it's like, I feel like when I have those down moments, I tell a lot of my friends, like, a lot of the moments that I have, and it's actually kind of fucking crazy. Like I had to start journaling them because I just felt like it wasn't real life. Like, it wasn't happening to me. But those moments I'm talking about are moments where it's like, okay, I'm struggling. Like, I didn't get work. It's like maybe we're in a whole month and it's been dry for me. But the next day, the next hour, I get an email like, hey, we have an assignment for you, or like, you know, a job opportunity arises.
Yeah. So
in those moments, I'm kind of just like, yeah, like, I didn't give up. I'm not giving up. Like I said, this is what I'm here to do. This is what I was put on earth to do. So just having that faith and never giving up yourself, like, at all, like, no matter what anyone says to you, keep that going. 'Cause I'm telling you, that's what's going to get you really far.
And one thing that, you know, I created this quote. I went to go Google it to see if it was already made, but, I believe that, you know, you said you broke down. I've had my breakdown moments. I've been through a lot in my life where, you know, this past year alone has, in my opinion, has probably been one of the hardest years I've had. Okay. You know, but I have to say that, you know, allow your tears to become your ocean, right? And when I say that, I mean, you know, we cry and we struggle and we never think there's, you know, that there's an end to this. But while those tears are falling, they're creating a puddle, and then that puddle becomes an ocean, and your ocean has become what you've been able to accomplish.
Absolutely.
And
that's beautiful.
Thank you.
That's really beautiful.
I had to look it up. I
said that's a good one. That's really good.
I promise you, I said it, and then after the podcast, I was like, I gotta make sure I didn't read this somewhere. But no, I think literally, like, in order to succeed, you have to cry. Yeah. Like, I don't think anybody has been chasing something or working towards whatever it is, whether that's, you know, you're working 9 to 5 and you're trying to move up in the company, you know, there's no way you didn't get there without shedding a tear. Right. You know, whether that's when you accomplished it or before you accomplished and didn't know it was coming. Right. You know, and I think it's a beautiful thing to cry and allow those tears to happen, because those are your, you know, what the trend is right now is canon event, you know, the Spider-Man. No. Yeah. So, well, it's basically like the moment that is going to, you'll understand in the future. Okay. It's like, it's supposed to happen. You're supposed to cry, right, but it all makes sense at the end.
And I want to second that too. I feel like that's what my work embodies, is just like, being yourself and allowing yourself to feel. I feel like society, especially as men, they put on us like there's no way you could show your emotions, there's no way to be vulnerable. Like they set that tone, and I find that really like irritating because like we all cry. Like I feel like show your emotions, like be yourself to the fullest, like don't care what anyone's thinking. So like a lot of my work is like, you know, breaking down those barriers and those stereotypes of what a man is, or who, you know, things like that. But I feel as though definitely like we all cry. I tell you, I've cried, and my river is probably a little overflown right now. So, but yeah, definitely feel how you feel. I feel like that quote was like I stuck in my head too. Like I want to go and journal that one down. That was good. That was a really good one.
I appreciate it. And what I do think is that, like I said, crying, it definitely it changes. You know what I mean? It changes you and it grows.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And that's what I created this podcast for, because we're all people, right? I could look at you. You could walk on the street next to me, not know who you are. But I look at life differently now, knowing that I'm not the only one going through things in life. We just all have to put on this face, and then when we get back to being able to be with ourselves, we realize, you know, we're not doing so well. You know what I mean? I don't think everybody is doing great.
Oh, absolutely
like
not.
Everybody's going through something, and that's why I wanted to make this, and that's why what my podcast stands on is, you know, I want people to know who's sitting next to me and get to see them in a different light than maybe they see you outside.
Right.
Because, you know, when you're at these, you know, at these events, and I can tell from the energy that you're giving off, you're very like bright, energetic, vibrant, and you know, I bet that your friends here can say that you're definitely somebody they love having around. But yeah, like, and then when you sit with yourself, you know, your thoughts, you know, the mental battles.
The mental battle is
you know,
strong.
am I you know, doing so good? Am I not doing as good as I wanted to be? Am I where I'm supposed to be? But I think we're exactly where we're supposed to be. We just feed these false narratives in our own head.
Yeah. I think the internet doesn't help.
No.
At all. I feel like that's the major, well, speaking for myself, seeing things online, and it's kind of like, damn, like, can I do that? And I think also too, like, the position I'm in, super grateful to be here, as a queer black boy, showing other queer black boys like, yo, you could do it too. Like, growing up, I never seen a me in rooms that I'm in. Still to this day, it's really very few. So just pushing that and like showing people like, yo, we all are deserving of being here. You know, in moments, in rooms, in opportunities, we all deserve that. So, yeah. Okay.
What I do want to ask, because I do believe there's people out there that don't know, you know, what being a queer is, right? And I would love for you to, you know, educate
Elaborate
people.
that.
Yes, of course. Because some people just don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think people should know.
It's definitely, I say queer because it just like solidifies who I identify as, but it's a shorter term for an LGBTQ plus. So, I think that just gets it out the door. Like, yeah, I'm queer. So queer black, but that's how I would put that out there.
Okay. But not, and I think that's amazing that, you know, I feel like for you to be able to say that out loud and be proud of that.
Oh, it took
you
a
know,
while. It took a while.
I can only imagine because, you know, the world that we live in, it's not very accepting of, you know, LGBTQ.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I think that it's not anybody's place to judge how we identify as or how we live our life as. You know what I mean? And I think it's a beautiful thing that you're putting on for a lot of people. And I think that whoever's listening to this and can relate to my guy here, it's inspiring in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? And all I can do is salute you for all the things that you have accomplished and all the people that will follow watching.
Thank you.
Of course. But to continue on, you did mention off camera that there was something that motivated you to be able to be where you are now. Something that you said that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah. So I would say this was 2021. I was at my 9-to-5 job. I'd say it kind of actually really started 2019. 2018, I started at this job. I'm here, I'm working, slaving away, and realizing as the years are going, the months are going on, I'm like, this isn't where I need to be. So throughout that process, while I was at this job, I was doing outreach. And for those of you who don't know, outreach is like reaching out to clients and potential people you want to work with or work for. I had so many moments where I would hide away in the bathroom at work, and I'm sending DMs to like hundreds and hundreds of people. I'm taking my lunch breaks to send out emails, doing a lot of draft emails, because at the time I didn't have connects to like certain clients that I wanted to work with.
Mm-hmm.
So throughout my outreach, I'm finding out, okay, this is an editor who works here. Let me kind of like plug in a draft email, maybe their first name, last name, at whatever, .com. Those emails are coming back saying, oh, this is failed. So I'm like, okay, like maybe let me try their first name dot last name. Still fail. First name underscore last name, or last name underscore. I was trying everything until I got the niche. Once I got the niche and it kind of plugged in and worked, the email went through, I was like, okay, perfect. So this is it was for the New York Times. So I found an editor from the New York Times. That was the niche. And then I just started emailing so many people from the New York Times. I was hopping on phone video calls, like during my 30-minute lunch break at the job. I'm hopping on calls with like producers, editors. I remember this one so vividly. I hopped on a call with the production team, senior producers of Nike.
Go.
So here I am at my 9-to-5 job on my 30-minute break in one of the break rooms with my laptop, introducing myself. And I had one or two of the people in the interview crying. And this one hits home really like deep, because after that interview that I had with them, they had to kind of not rush off the call, but they had a call with Serena Williams right after me.
Wow.
So I'm like, they're talking to me and they have a meeting with Serena Williams. I'm doing something right. So that happened. I realized, okay, like I started realizing my worth, and I started realizing like, okay, this job isn't for me. Fast forward to 2021. I was unfortunately injured on the job. Got injured on the job, so I was put on a leave of absence, unpaid leave of absence. This was pre-COVID. So COVID happened. I'm like, damn, I have bills to pay. God willing, I had a good savings. But that moment where I was put on leave of absence, that kind of lit a fire up my ass. I was like, I gotta get going. I gotta make sure I make this happen. So within that 7-month gap of me being on leave of absence, no disability, no unemployment, I made my bills happen. Like I paid my bills. I was able to do it. And backtrack a little bit through after being like before being put on leave of absence, I was dealing with like my very first heartbreak ever. So that happened. I left the job. I was injured. I had that injury, and I was like, they were trying to push on me to get surgery, and I was like, I don't want to do surgery. I'm too young for surgery. So those 2 points kind of like drove me out my mind. And within those 7 months, like I used those 2 motivating factors to motivate me to do and move forward and push forward. And it kind of segued into me like being on sets with certain people and being in rooms and certain opportunities. So month 7, I get a call from my job saying my doctor took me off of leave of absence. It's time for me to come back to work. While I got that call, I was on set with the great photographer Dana Shrugs. Shout out to Dana Shrugs if she sees this. She was shooting a campaign, and it was Kim Kardashian's skincare line. So I'm on the phone with my 9-to-5 job, being called to come back to work the next day. I'm looking at my phone, and then I'm looking at the set. I'm looking at my phone, and then I'm looking at the set. I'm like, this is my moment. I need to make this decision. It was so weird because like I'm getting this call and I'm in the room. I'm where I want to be, like physically where I see myself and what I want to do. I was like, okay, cool. Hung up the phone, realized what I'm going to do and what is for me. I decided to not go back. Got let go of that job. And after that, like, I feel like that was like, I gained both my wings and I kind of was just taking flight. So that was really what kind of like pushed. It was the push I need. And also too, like the injury that I have, like I was told the injury is going to get worse if I continue working here. So I need to find another job. And I was like, I'm not working for anyone else. Like after that experience of working for someone, I said, I want to be my own boss. I went to school for this. I paid all this money to get this degree. I'm not about to be working for, the white man. So I said, I want to do this for myself. And I took that as just like inspiration. So those moments kind of really pushed me out.
I do have to ask, right? Because I'm waiting for my moment, right? What was that moment like in time to be like realizing, okay, I have to decide. Like, do I stay with my day job? And like, I think I've asked a lot of people this question because, well, I don't want to say a lot, but I've had a few people come in here and now they are doing what they love to do, right?
Right.
And I always congratulate because to get to that point, it is, I feel, in my opinion, is life-changing.
It is.
Because, and the reason I say that is, I can't speak from experience, but to break away from the society norm and work that job, work that 9 to 5, and then decide, I don't know what's going to happen, but this is what I love to do, and I'm going to do it. Yeah. So I have to ask, what was that moment like?
It was crazy because, like I said, I grew up in a household of everyone with a 9 to 5 job or a career job. So it's nothing I've seen. This was all new to me, so I was like, damn. I just remembered of all the times I would drive. My job, I was working 10-hour shifts 4 days a week. I had no time to do any of the things that I wanted to do for my career. There was moments I had to turn down assignments because I couldn't call out of work or they weren't approving my PTO. But on my way to those to work, I would cry in the morning. 6 a.m, I'm like rolling out of bed like, yo, what the fuck? Like, what the actual fuck? Like, why am I, and it was just so much for me. So I think it felt so good to finally say, I'm not getting up at 6 a.m. to cry my way to work, cry in the bathroom. Like, it was just too much. And I think, it was scary, but it needed to happen because I told myself I don't want to keep doing that, so I feel like it's scary because it's like, taking that leap of faith on yourself. Like, you have to fully believe in yourself to get the shit done. We're all like the typical standards of the 9 to 5 as like, it's stability. That's what holds a lot of creatives back is the stability and not like, being stable. But if you're hungry enough, let me be like a living like testimony to that, because like, if you're hungry enough, and you work for your shit, like it could be done. It will be done. Matter of fact. So
and well, thank you, because I think it's just an amazing thing to see that you went through that, and I completely can agree to the point that you made of contacting people during my day job, 9 to 5 in the bathroom, sitting there, people coming in and out. I'm in there for a minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just going at it, and DMing as many people as I can. People that I don't even feel sometimes will respond. Yeah. But it's just about that feeling of at least I tried. Yeah. And I think that's one of the biggest things when being a creative is being able to say at least I tried. Yeah. It's everything.
I'm not going to sit here and say like everyone. I was messaging so many people to the point where I find myself messaging people who who couldn't even hire me for something. I just wanted my work and my name to be in people's like viewpoint.
Exactly.
And I say like nearly half the people didn't even write back to me. Like, people left me on scene. People never responded to me, but that one editor that responded, I saw that, and then it just segued into more and more, and then I built a relationship with Converse. Their team, amazing team, they came to me also too. I didn't even mention this, but during that period of time where I was put on leave of absence, dealing with my first breakup, my heartbreak, they came to me with an opportunity, one of the biggest opportunities, the same week. Like, it blows my mind. The same week that all these things were happening, Converse hit me up and they're like, hey, do you want to model for our winter campaign? I was like, there's no way. I said, God, there's no way this is happening in the time that it's happening. And it did. So I was just like, yeah, this is it, and I moved forward with it and kind of just segued me into where I am today.
Got you. What I do want to ask, on behalf of my girlfriend, so you were
shout out to the girlfriend.
Yeah. So you worked on Teen Vogue, right?
Yes.
Well, before I go ahead and ask about the person who you took pictures of, what was the experience like? Getting to work with Teen Vogue.
that that was an amazing experience, and I tell a lot of people about that journey because that one wasn't no overnight. Like that wasn't just like, oh, let me DM her to shoot her for this. Like that was 4 to 5 years in the making. Throughout the process of when I was telling you I was researching people, I came across people from Teen Vogue. Through them in my Rolodex, and a Rolodex, for people who aren't watching, is just like a big spreadsheet of contacts, emails, and things of that nature. I had the team at Teen Vogue. So within those 4 to 5 years, I'm constantly reaching out to them, updating them every month. I do outreach like every month. So like I'm reaching out to new clients or clients I've worked with before. That led me into, landing this opportunity. So landing this opportunity, this actually came with another opportunity. I'm not sure if you know about Afropunk.
Yes.
So Afropunk's coming around. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I did my little outreach because I knew I wanted to shoot. I've wanted to shoot Afropunk for like the past couple years. So I reached out to all my contacts that I had. Teen Vogue gets back to me, and they're like, okay, let me find out first. Let me talk with the team. Talked with the team. They came back to me, and they're like, yes, we want to shoot Afropunk from a viewpoint of a artist. Hired me for that. I kid you not, maybe like an hour to maybe, I would say, I think it was an hour. An hour later, they hit me. They're like, oh, we also have this opportunity for you. Are you down and willing? I said, yeah, like, hell yeah, I'm down. Like, 2 bones in one. I said, absolutely. So that was my first assignment for them was shooting Afropunk. Second assignment was shooting Monet for Teen Vogue. So that's kind of how that kind of came about.
So, Monet, McMichael.
Okay.
So what was it like working with her?
Oh, amazing. That's my long lost sister. Like it felt so good just to be in that room. Like this was my first time shooting at Condé Nast Studios, which is located in the World Trade Center.
Oh, wow.
So that was really wild. Like when I got that opportunity, I really had to sit with it and like tell myself like this is like it's showtime. But it was an amazing opportunity. The team I was able to bring on my team, and the team at Teen Vogue was super, super fire. But it was life changing. It felt so good to be working with a team, also working with Monet, who who has the same outlook on life as me, and our mission to like inclusivity and showing our people. I found out she's also Puerto Rican and Black, so that's why I said that's my long lost sister, because I too am Puerto Rican and Black. So once we found that out, like it was like showtime after that. I was like, oh shit, like it felt good, felt really good.
And the one thing that after the constant YouTube videos, and Monet, if you're watching this, my girlfriend watches YouTube videos, and I've seen almost everyone because of her. So I just think it's amazing how she has a story, right, where it comes from kind of the same place, where she went to college, got her degree, and was doing YouTube, just enjoying herself, doing makeup, and then now it grew into something she never even expected, and had to make the same decision you did, which was, okay, do I go into nursing, or do I go and pursue my passion and what's working for me right now? And she did it, and she's doing amazing, and congratulations to her. And I think it was, it's amazing the fact that like things like this happen for people like us, right? And I, congratulate her as well as yourself,
Thank you.
For all that you've been able to accomplish.
Thank you.
But to continue on, we are getting kind of close to the end. Not yet.
Oh shit!
I told you, time goes by.
Time really does fly.
Yeah. So what I do want to ask, right, is what do you think is a key factor for yourself, or for yourself, that got you where you are? I guess what I'm looking for is a word.
Consistency.
Consistency?
Consistency.
And why why consistency?
Why consistency? It's because I took no for an answer. I never took no for an answer. Yeah. Yeah. That was a little tongue twister. But I that being said, I just always knew that this was my thing. It was gonna happen. I just knew I needed to be consistent. I needed to continue. Also, too, I needed to continue to learn. I'm not sitting here saying I know every fucking thing. Every day I'm learning something new, whether that be in life or in my career. So I just knew that being consistent, I'm gonna continue to learn. I'm gonna continue to unlearn. And that just took me to, you know, segueing into where I am now and like continuing on that journey. In the coming weeks, I have like my very first shoot with a client that I told myself I would work for my freshman year in college. So here I am 5+ years later and it's happening. That just goes to show me like if I'm consistent, delusional, it could happen. So yeah, consistency.
And I just, one thing I gotta say, and I have to admit to, is I've had a lot of people come on and say you have to be delusional. And I remember when I had my first ever interview with somebody who said that, I was a little confused because I was like, I don't know what you mean by that.
Yeah.
But now after I've heard so many people say it, I was like, maybe I'm a little delusional too, because you know, I've had these, you know, dreams of like, you know, and I think what comes down to it for me is I never, until now, I never knew who my people were, if that makes sense. I didn't know where I fit and what, like,
makes sense. Yeah.
Where I'm supposed to be in life. You know, I was always fearful of being that, you know, 9 to 5 working for the rest of my life for somebody. And it was like, so what is it that I like doing? And I think the reason I'm saying all this is because I want to sum it up to the point where, you know, I found my passion. And I want to ask you, how do you know when you found how do you know that you found your purpose?
How do I know I found my purpose? I feel like when I started getting, you know, people, I don't like to say fans. I would say more so supporters. I feel like when I started getting more supporters, there's been people, because during the Tumblr era, I was out there and, you know, I hate to say it too, but like Tumblr famous, I was pretty popular on Tumblr, and I feel like a lot of those people still to this day are reaching out to me saying, wow, like I was going through my comment section under the Teen Vogue shoot and someone mentioned, wow, from Tumblr to Vogue, it just blows my mind. It gives me, like, I get the chills now, like getting messages from people who have followed me. That was like a decade ago. So for people to still be seeing that and see where I was to see where I am today is like, holy shit, like, damn. And it just more of a testament to like me walking in my purpose and me, you know, doing what I'm doing for a reason. Like, this is why I'm here and I'm going to continue that. And I think hearing that from people and last night I was at I went to a panel talk, and it was industry people and people who are of stature. And for those people to mention to me like, yo, you're killing it, I was like, what? Like, you see what I'm doing, like you're watching. So I think those are also like moments and reminders and telling me like you're walking your purpose.
Exactly. And I think that's like being able to know that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing is probably one of the best feeling anybody can feel, you know. Absolutely. Because there's people that never figure it out. Yeah. And, you know, it's sad, but at the same time, you know, it's the way that, you know, God willing, you guys will find it eventually. Yeah. Because
just gotta tap in.
Exactly.
Tap in.
And there's a purpose for everything in your life. I just had that talk with somebody where, you know, they felt they may be, they're about to do something that wasn't purposeful because of some reason. But I always feel like everything you do in life, whether you think it's purposeful, there's a reason. There's a reason you're there. There's a reason you're supposed to be here at this time during
Absolutely.
the day.
I'm a firm believer in that. I feel like also too, with all of the things that's happened to me within the past 5 years, I've tapped in a lot more into like realizing that there's a purpose behind everything. Like, there's meaning behind everything. As I thought about that, I've even realized like, yo, my ancestors did not have these opportunities that I have today. So it gives me the chills. I just got chilled down my spine now, but I'm doing what I'm doing for them. And it's so far beyond me. Like I said, like, this is my purpose, and I just think it's so far beyond me, you know. And it feels good to be doing what I'm doing, and doing it to the fullest. Mm-hmm. So yeah. I want to say to the folks watching, like, you could do anything you want to do. Like, you just really have to like have full ample amount of faith in yourself, because I always said it too. I was like, yo, and I said this to myself, and I still say this to myself, but like, if I don't believe in myself, ain't nobody gonna believe in me. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's fully what it is.
Got you. Yeah. So what I want to say is, Elianel, I can't say congratulations enough, just because of the fact that you know, I always do my research on everybody that I have on the pod, and I have to say that you are one, and meeting you as well, like, it all wrapped it up for me. Like, you are truly a stand-up individual who has worked their hardest to be able to get to where they are, and I think I always see beauty in that. Working every day for what you want and knowing that there's, sometimes the world can feel like it's against you.
Oh yeah.
And like the moments of, just not knowing where my life is going to take me, and you finally got to where you are, and your journey is not even close to being over. You have so much more to accomplish in your life, and I just want to congratulate you.
Thank you. Thank
course.
you so much. It means a lot. I too have moments of doubt. I have moments where I like feel like, no, this isn't working out for me. I'm nowhere near where I want to be. Like, I have so much more that I want to do. But it's just the fact of like not giving up. There's a lot of like I said, and I'll say it 10 million times, there's a lot of moments of doubt. People look at what I've done and just like assume, oh, he's like, going, but I too have moments where like I'm balled up crying, like, yo, what's next? Or like I have those moments too. I have feelings, so it's like, life isn't easy. And I say that fully. Life is so hard, especially the times that we're living in right now. Is fucking scary. So it's like, whatever you got to do to make sure you're good, like, make sure you do it, because tomorrow's never promised. I could leave here and, like, God forbid, but something could happen to me. So it's like, I'm a firm believer in, like, doing what you want to do and standing on that, because tomorrow is never promised.
Exactly. So, Elianel, this is the end of the podcast.
Oh, that's crazy.
So, so I do have my ending questions.
Yeah.
With the one I want to start off with is, what is it that wakes you up every morning, maybe even keeps you up at night to do what you're doing?
What wakes me up every morning to keep doing what I'm doing? I just say my younger self. A lot of it is like healing. A lot of what I'm doing now is healing my younger self. As I'm getting older, I'm realizing a lot of like the childhood trauma is coming to the forefront. And just pushing that narrative, like, of change, of acceptance, of all of that. So I think that's what really gets me up in the morning. It says I have a job to do. Let me, continue walking in my purpose and showing that younger boy who would literally go to sleep every night crying and trying to figure out, like, what's wrong with me? Why am I different? Like, what is it? That was like a good most of my childhood. So to be here today, living in my purpose fully, loudly, and just happy with who I am and what I'm doing, it sets the tone to continue doing that.
And I'm happy for you.
Honestly. Thank
you. Next question I have is, I want to know if I'm gonna add this one for you. What do you feel like is something the world needs to hear?
Something the world needs to hear. Be kind. Be kind. Be loving. No matter the color, the shape, the identity, like, we need more love out there. And I think that's what my work pushes for, is like inclusivity and just more love. There's just so much hate out there. Like, it's crazy. Like, alone, me getting my nails done, like, the controversy and things that I've dealt with by doing that is insane. So definitely more love. Spread more love.
And I gotta say, I have been looking at your nails, and I gotta say, they're pretty fire. I like the design.
Thank you.
Of course. Okay, I'm gonna ask this question now. What is the message that you would give to your future self?
My future self.
Like, they came back to this video to watch it.
I told you so. I definitely, I am a firm believer that, I'm going to be where I want to be. And to that self, looking at this self now, I'm so fucking proud of you.
Got you.
Because I know I'm going to sit back. I said that too. I was like, even in this podcast, is going to be something for me to actually kind of like look back on and really see. I'm obsessed with just documentation of things. Mm-hmm. So to have this filmed, people listening, it feels really good, because years down the road, my future self is going to come back and tap into this and see, like, holy shit, you really you was about your shit.
And we'll be happy to have you on if you're watching, future self.
Yes,
So.
yes.
Last but not least, what do you want the world to know about Elianel Clinton?
Damn. What do I want the world to know about me? I'm a badass bitch. Nah. I just want people to know, like, damn, that's a hard one.
Mm-hmm.
What do I want people to know about me? I don't know. People are always gonna have their perceptions and, you know, things of that nature. But just know I'm an open book. I'm an open book. I love. Yeah. I would say that's what I have people
Okay.
think. Yeah.
No, it's not a problem. I know it's a hard question.
It is
I try to
difficult.
impact with the last ones.
Because I'm also too working on like not giving a fuck what people think about me.
I agree. I've had a cut people off because of that. Family as well.
Yeah.
That just judged me for doing this.
Yeah.
And if you're watching, I appreciate you for watching.
That's it. Yeah. Let the haters and people, the naysayers, motivate you.
Exactly.
And I think that's a big factor into getting to where you want to be. Is like, it helps when people say, oh no, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I had that moment like once, and that actually lifted me to booking my first billboard.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Got you. So this is the end of the podcast.
Okay. I was having fun.
The camera's not all yours. If there's anything you got going on, anything you want to say at all, this is your time.
So hoping 2024, my very first short film that I actually directed should be coming out. So stay tuned for that. That one is my baby. It's been worked on since 2019. So stay tuned for that. Also, more shit on the way. My first assignment for a big publication is on its way. And yeah, that's what I gotta say. Also, I actually know what I gotta really say is keep going. Like, for anyone viewing this, on a serious note, I know you said not to look at the camera, but I gotta look at the camera. That was my time. Keep doing your thing. Keep believing yourself. Keep being delusional. Keep being faithful. You too could be in rooms. You know, you could do it. You just gotta believe fully in yourself and work hard. Like, do your research. And no, again, you too could be here as well. Like, I'm opening doors for everybody to come through. So it's like, you know, feel free to hit me. My line's always open. I answer DMs. I answer emails. So never hesitate to reach out if you have a question or two.
Got you. All right. Elianel,
Say.
this is it. I'm going to go ahead and do my outro.
Okay.
I just want to say I appreciate you for being here. I definitely really enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you.
You made it fun. So,
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you. Because if you weren't here, I'd be talking to myself. So
Yeah. That was a pleasure. A pleasure to be here. Like I said, this is my second podcast. This is the first one that's actually going to air, but it really means a lot to be here. You wanting to highlight and have me here it's such an honor.
Vice versa.
We're just gonna thank each other.
We're gonna do another 10 minutes of this,
right?
But no. Honestly, this is moments like these are what I do it for, and I live for it because I love one thing that I feel like is my passion or what I'm supposed to be here for is to be able to talk to people and allow their stories to be heard.
Right.
Because I felt like for a long time I couldn't find a place to tell mine.
Right.
And I told mine for a little while, and then I went and did this because I got tired of telling mine, and now I feel so much better being able to do this for people.
That's amazing, especially as a fellow New Jersey, and like I feel like we got to put on for us.
Exactly, and for this to be your second podcast, I hope and pray. I pray and hope that this is one that sticks with you for a long time. So
Sure.
Thank you so much for being here. This is the Community Pod. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, leave a like, comment your favorite part, and if you're new here, put on post notifications so you never miss a future episode. Audio platforms, since I know when this is going to be uploaded. I want to say shout out to everybody that listens in Germany, South Africa,
Wow,
Nairobi.
fire.
There's so many people from around the world that I get so many people audioly that listen from different parts of the world than YouTube.
Fire.
It is the most beautiful thing in the world, and I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. No, that even like really hit hard for me. You know,
yes, everybody around the world is going to hear you.
That's amazing.
So that's one thing that I love, audio platforms. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. But other than that, leave a review, audio platform people. I like reading your comments and what you have to say about the podcast and what I can do better to make this experience the best possible. Other than that, This is the Community Pod, and we are out. Peace.